Today, Pokémon GO successfully tricked thousands of gamers into discovering that the outside world is a terrible place. This is CheckPoint.
Welcome to CheckPoint, broadcasting on July 11th, which is Free Slurpee Day at 7-Eleven.
Of course, for soulless corporate shills like ourselves, every day is Free Slurpee Day.
In hindsight, we probably should have just asked to be paid in actual money.
We're not actually sponsored by 7-Eleven. Yet. We're open to it. The inexplicable race to have the highest level on Steam has a new leader. Stack, spelled fork, but we're gonna just say Stack, is now level 1155 on Steam. For those unaware, Steam, Valve's digital game storefront, is itself gamified, and you earn experience by purchasing games and earning trading cards to exchange with other customers cards you earn by also purchasing games. It is the most explicit pay-to-win system that exists. And while you may have heard of user Palm Desert recently breaking level 1000 and now sitting at 1111, he had been working towards this inexplicable goal for some time. Saint Fork was still a mere level 100 back in March of this year, so how did he rocket to the dizzying heights of level 1155 so quickly? He had a plan. He worked out exactly how many games he needed to buy during the Steam Summer Sale, how many cards he could purchase or trade for, and how many trading card sets he could complete. He then spent $13,000 to make that happen. And the worst part, this was the Steam Summer Sale, so you know he's not playing those games.
Making video games is hard work, so much so that the old blood, sweat, and tears cliche gets called out often to describe the development process. But now Lord British himself, creator of Ultima, Richard Garriot, is moving that tired metaphor one step closer to reality by auctioning off his own blood to fund development of his latest game, Shroud of the Avatar. There are 3 reliquaries, as they're called, and they're actually quite fancy. They're made with copper and mirrored glass to ensure that these macabre horcruxes look as good on display in your home as anything holding the blood of a stranger can. And in case you're suspicious that you might be buying the blood of a lesser human, Garriot live-streamed the bloodletting process. So for just $11,000, you can have the last remaining one in existence because the 2 of them have already sold. That's not okay!
One man's trash is another man's hilarious Craigslist find. When Reddit user WowBobWow picked up a beat-up Macintosh SE, the intent was just to clean it up and get the old 8 megahertz processor running again. He was successful, so successful that he discovered a copy of Mac Playmate, a 1986 porn game, hidden away on the computer in an America Online folder, where no one would think to look. Obviously, the game isn't much to look at, considering the Mac SE only had 1 meg of RAM, but think of this as a testament to how far we've progressed in 30 years. Now we have fully 3D VR waifu boning with haptic feedback that we hide in our Microsoft Edge folder. The future is crazy.
Pokémon GO is officially sweeping the world. This morning, CBC Radio had a story on the game, even though it's not out in Canada yet. There have been heartwarming tales of new friendships formed in dark parks at 3 a.m., funny stories of unintentional injuries, warnings from local police departments reminding people not to drive and play at the same time, signs posted in Dairy Queens reminding players that Pokémon are for paying customers only, criminals using a Poké-Stop to lure victims so they could be robbed at gunpoint, and even a teenager that found a dead body while trying to land a water-type Pokémon. Look, the game has been out for 5 days! Calm down, people! There are a lot of questions about the viability of Pokémon GO. What does the long tail of user retention look like? Will the 3 factions be enough to encourage people to stay engaged when they've caught them all? And more importantly, how will news agencies manage when they've exhausted their quickly vanishing reserves of Pokémon pun headlines? It's an uncertain time all around.
Here's a sentence I never predicted saying out loud. A couple months ago, the Pope met with a handful of YouTubers. The intent of the meeting was to learn how the internet brings people together, and the Vatican informed the various tubemans that it was customary to bring the Pope a gift that was representative of their culture. So MatPat from the channel The Gaming Theorists gave him a copy of Undertale. I suppose that's a nice gesture, and certainly a great subject for a video for your channel, but I feel like the Pope isn't going to have the gaming vocabulary to appreciate the content of what Undertale is trying to do. Even starting with Earthbound is probably too much for the pontiff. The Pope is a busy guy. probably only has time for casual gaming. I would start slow, with Flappy Bird or something. Rage is a universal emotion, so it's something we can all share.
Really feel like if you're being tasked with introducing the Pope to video games, you can do better than Flappy Bird.
The Pope's a busy guy. You can't give him Persona 4 and say, don't worry, you'll really get into the gameplay after about 3 hours.
What about Tetris?
It's too Russian, too close to the Orthodox Church.
Xenogears.
That is sacrilegious, and you know it.
Fallout New Vegas, you could do a pacifist run.
Do you want to explain Death Claws to the Pontiff?
I do not. Coming up, Hearts of Iron 4 is a serious, deep, and super complex World War II military strategy game. It's also been modded to hell and back, so now you can finally play out the Second World War the way history truly deserves, as a fight between Seinfeld factions.
No, you can't make the noise. We still need the music.
Okay, I'll be quiet.